Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Boisterous coming to you with some Silver League Sexiness out of the map Tal'Darim Altar LE. And spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Adum as the red Zerg, and up here in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent Reydar as the blue Terran. Now, of course, Reydar was one of the team leaders for that Clan Wars I did a little while ago with the freaking ping guy. And I swear to God, if ping guy shows up in this game, I'm going to find his house. I'm going to track his IP, find his house, and murder him, because I can't stand ping guy. Ping guy enrages me. I'm not sure if you guys watched like the last couple games of that series, but he broke my spirit, and that was a dark moment for me when ping guy broke me. It's dark and painful. But anyway, this game is actually from a little while ago, so I just need to explain that real fast. I think this is actually pre-patch because it's from like the beginning of May. And I do believe that the beginning of May was before the patch that patched up the Queen's, the Queen range dropped. So that if anything odd happens in this game with like the Queen swinging with their talons, then just think about it like that. Because, yeah, freaking queens swinging with their talons instead of shooting needles. Anyway, we have both of our players here scouting out their opponents. It looks like Adum is planning on going for a 15 hatch, an extremely standard build in TVZ, especially now, but definitely always. I can't think of a time where the 15 hatch was like an odd thing to do in TVZ. Right now it's kind of an odd thing to do in ZVZ, especially in the lower leagues, but that's kind of the only matchup where you would be like, huh. Maybe PVZ, but usually it's just ZVZ. PVZ is mainly if you get your hatchery blocked that you would go for anything over 15 hatch. And we have this drone being very manly, but a little bit too manly. He's getting beat on a bit by that SCV. And now these two SCVs are chasing him. He has 5 health, 6 health, 1 health. What is he doing? Why is he dodging back into the bad jump? Drone. He had a straight shot out of there. My little droney buddy could have escaped, but then Adum decided that he was ready to sacrifice something. He sacrificed something to the GG gods. That's right, he sacrificed it to the GGG. And that was a depressing moment for me. That's dark. Well, Reydar is going for his expansion, and I'm guessing he's doing this because it's a TVZ, so you know he's safe if he goes for fast expand almost always, especially on a map like Tal'Darim where the rush distance is just so extreme. Even considering the fact that they're in lateral positions, this is still like one of the biggest rush distances of any map. It's pretty freaking huge. I would compare it to something almost like Cloud Kingdom. I mean, Cloud Kingdom is kind of bigger, but that's only because it snakes a lot. And Tal'Darim is just an extremely safe map, especially because of how the ramps are set up, and it's a safe map. Just fast expand all the time. If you do anything other than fast expanding on Tal'Darim, you're kind of not that smart, or you're cheesing. And if you're cheesing, I hate you. I despise you. Don't cheese, guys. We have these 4 Zerglings. Actually, that's kind of interesting. He didn't go for the standard 2 Zerglings. He actually went for 4. And they're moving out to maybe take the watchtower? Or maybe they're just like scouting around? Maybe these Zerglings just don't care. Wow, they really did not care that that SCV was there. Huh. And they're going to be going for the front. Now, of course, Reydar already has 3 Marines up. He has 3 barracks on the way, which is interesting. Now that the Queen is out, I can check. Yeah, this is definitely pre-patch, so it's kind of odd to see him going for 3 racks. This is usually an extreme early pressure build, but he didn't drop the 3 racks early enough, and he's going for refinery. He's going for a lot of gas, which is kind of interesting because usually, if you see somebody going for that really early attacks, they don't get that much gas. Instead, they opt for getting like 100 gas, maybe like 150, so that they can drop a reactor, a tech lab, and then get stim pack and all that stuff. But usually you see them cut gas pretty early, or at least cut it down to 1 refinery instead of having it up on 2 like this. So I'd be expecting some level of tech. Oh, he's actually going for double upgrades too. He's getting that combat that combat shield and stim pack instead of going for like combat shield and then stim pack. So that's kind of interesting, especially considering the fact that oh, whoa, double Marauder production. What? Why is he building double Marauders against Zerg? That is odd. Especially considering the fact that if you think about this game, it was played pre-patch. It was before Hellions were really, really bad. Because Hellions at this point are kind of the joke unit for the Terran army. People very, very rarely go for them. Primarily because you just can't put pressure on. You can barely deny creep spread, and you really can't deny creep spread if they go for anything like the 4 queen or the 6 queen builds, because there are 4 queens spreading creep, and you just can't kill 4 queens with Hellions, no matter how hard you try, because one of them is going to have a transfuse, and it's going to take all of your Hellions' lives just to kill one of them, and then as soon as it gets low, you're just going to see a transfuse go off and die, and you know you're going to lose. That's kind of how it works. But this is kind of an interesting play, because if you look at Adum, he really doesn't have any units, and he doesn't have any tech to get any units. He really just has spawning pools and drones. So if a push like this came out, I'm not sure if he'd be able to like even react to it fast enough, because the rush distance is pretty big, but it's not big enough to get a full, you know, army out, especially if you had just produced a round of drones like he had. And he's even expanding to kind of an awkward spot on the map. We see the Terran army. This is okay. No, he's moving on. I thought he was just going to sit at the watchtower, and that would have been a total mistake. Is my sound in game still really low, or is it muted? Oh, sound was muted. Derp. Oh my god, I feel very bad about that. Actually, I had music playing, and I was like, why is music looping, but I'm not hearing gunfire? That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I was just being an idiot. And I'm not sure how Reydar came to know about this base. Is he really just like checking for it? Because I don't think he actually knew the thing was in existence. However, now it's getting fired on down, and that's not good for a Zerg player. I'm not sure our Zerg players actually want to have anything available to deal with this. And he actually doesn't. The third base goes down, which is extremely bad for a Zerg player. I mean, I think he really could have broken the front, because these spine crawlers really just popped. So he could have killed like 3 or 4 spine crawlers before any of them popped, and then just killed the one that was up, and dealt with this very, very small cadre of Zerglings. However, now that roaches are up and festers are coming up, there's 5 spine crawlers. It's not going to happen. Actually, a couple of roaches were spawning from that base, which was kind of a blunder. I would have just canceled everything spawning from that base, because honestly, you can't do anything else from that base. You're just going to die. But we do have a third base coming out from Reydar, an actual traditionally placed. What the? What? Is he building his macro hatch next to the rocks so that he can start mining earlier? I mean, that's not an awful decision. It's just a like, what decision? Why would you even conceive of doing that? It doesn't make any freaking sense. It would appear that Reydar is getting ready for something. He has his siege tanks coming up. And I still claim that this was a very odd starting build, because Marauders aren't too useful against Zerg. They don't have an insane amount of DPS. I mean, their DPS isn't bad, but it's nowhere near the DPS of a Zerg. They're really only good for, you know, pummeling down spine crawlers or pummeling down a hatchery. And I guess he did pummel down a hatchery, but Marines was all he really needed for that. Because a Marine DPS is, you know, the same as of a Marauder, except it costs way less. And that's kind of really the difference. Here comes the push from Reydar. This push is, it's gonna be damaging, because this tank is here. This tank is actually doing a lot of damage. It did not get targeted down. Is this push gonna win him the game? Wow! He just decimated that Zerg force. There are 12 roaches on the way. However, with any amount of reinforcements, you know, this is going to at least kill a natural, and that's really nasty. You should probably be targeting the spine crawler. There we go, now he's targeting the spine crawler. There come the roaches, and this is kind of the perfect flood that he didn't want to happen, where all of the roaches come down. He has the spine crawler coming up. He doesn't have any reinforcements because he's been holding them all back at his base. If this force had come down in a reinforcing route, this game would probably be over at this point, because these roaches cannot hold off this amount of units. They would be close, but with the medevacs here, it just wouldn't happen. We did see an infestor pit, and it does actually have energy, so he could go for infestors right now, which would honestly be the decision that would be declared correct by almost everybody in the world that plays Zerg, because it is the right decision to go for. And the roaches are moving out. This is most certainly the wrong decision to pick. Wow, he just got wrecked. He just got, like, railed there. He's seen the entire army. Does he know that? Like, this is the entire force. This wasn't a scouting / prodding maneuver of roaches. That was all the roaches. There are 3 infestors on the way, along with 18 zerglings. However, that is still an extremely small army. The only way that that's going to win is if it has banelings, and he does not currently have banelings. And we have this force moving down. There are 2 tanks here. These tanks should really siege up. However, Roach is in a really crappy position. So are zerglings. And their siege tanks do siege up, and oh wow, these roaches are actually really good. Huh? Who knew? Oh, and the infestor came along just to have a little bit of a party. It's fungling, but again, fungal, it gets out-healed by medevacs. People don't really understand that, but fungal is no longer the killing part of your force. The killing part of your force are like banelings that hit after you fungal, or infestors, or not infestors, broodlords or ultralisks that hit after you fungal and stop people from running away from them. Because infestors, or no, banelings, broodlords, ultralisks all have insanely high DPS on stationary targets. This tank is being extremely annoying. A couple of roaches are going to go over there to clean that up, and indeed they do. The hatchery has taken a lot of hits. This hatchery is going to spawn at like 2/3 health, which is not really where you want it to be. Actually, maybe a little bit more than 2/3, but definitely not that much more. That was definitely not the best engagement for Adum, and Reydar is kind of just sitting pretty right now. He has 3 bases. He's had 3 bases for an insane amount of time over his opponent. If we look at his income, it's ridiculously higher. And that's not even counting mules, because he doesn't really have a lot of mules on the ground currently. He has actually no mules on the ground currently. So if he dropped like 4 mules, then this would skyrocket to probably up to like 2,200, and it would be absolutely absurd. If we look at his unit composition, we see that there are like 6 roaches, 2 infestors, and 1 zergling, versus 16 marines, 3 marauders, 3 siege tanks, and 8 medevacs. You should send these medevacs along to fight. But that's a lot of medevacs. That's like, that's probably double the amount of medevacs you would see a lot of people go for with an army this sized. It's probably double the amount of medevacs you need for an army this sized. And it's good that he's cutting that medevac number in half. You know, he's given his opponent a chance. And since there are only 2 medevacs, we actually do see fungals doing a lot of damage, especially because, you know, there was a lot of stimming going on. And stimming is something that you want to do in an engagement like this, not in an engagement like running across the creep. However, honestly, Adum no longer has the economy, and he no longer has the forces to really produce anything to fight this off. He has 11 roaches on the way. However, 11 roaches by themselves aren't going to clean up 2 siege tanks. 3 if Reydar actually decides to be good. There we go. Are these medevacs on the way? Where do those medevacs go? There are medevacs here. Oh, there they are. Okay, so these medevacs are probably going to come in with the next wave of reinforcements, which honestly should be coming now. The only reason you wait up on reinforcements to send them across the map is if your opponent has zerglings on the reinforcement map, which currently Adum cannot spare units to do that. He does not have a force big enough to defend in order to do that. These siege tanks should be leapfrogging up into a position where they can hit this hatchery. It shouldn't really just be the marauders hitting the hatchery. And medevac almost goes down to a spine crawler. That would have been sad. We do have a spine crawler coming down and landing, but it's going to die. The roaches are coming in. However, these roaches were already damaged just from getting shelled occasionally by tanks, and they will do a lot of damage to the Bioforce. However, they're not going to kill the last 2 marauders, and there are still 3 siege tanks with their foot on their opponent's throat. If Reydar reinforced this, again, he would probably win the game. Reydar really just needs to make any sort of reinforcement, and Reydar probably shouldn't be shooting his own tank. That's really not the best decision. Reydar, why are you not reinforcing? Send this force. It's giant. And you just lost all your siege tanks. Generally not a good thing to do. However, Medevac heal is OP, so these Marauders are going to be perfectly fine. 2 Marauders. How boss are these guys? 14 kills on this Marauder, 15. Man, he's a fucking captain. Jeez, never seen Marauder hit that. Oh no, Hero Marauder buddy. Whoa, Hero Marauder buddy, what a champ. Hero Marauder. Oh my god. And yeah, that's right. We have Hero Marauder and then Hero Marauder buddy is somewhere in there. I'm just going to keep 20 kills on Hero Marauder. What a champ. We have GG from Adum, and Adum leaves the game. Reydar, you won the game. You can leave now. There we go. Okay. I was just gonna tell him, you can leave after your opponent, after it says Adum has left the game. Very few people can actually hack into such a position where they can just type that and then you leave the game. That would be hilarious if you could do that. You just like hack the chat log so that you can go like, Boisterous has left the game! Exclamation mark. And then your opponent just leaves and you get free ladder points every time. That'd be great. However, most people would probably figure it out. Oh well. I would like to thank you all for watching this video. You can head on over to Boisterous SC2, or you can send in any games you want commentated into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. Also, if you want any more Boisterous action, you can head on over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. And if you want to be one of the last few people to post in this thread before I just post like 5 times in a row so that I can get the last word in before it gets locked down, there is going to be a posting link in the description for this video for that thread that you guys should definitely all go post and then bump it to the front page so that I can get all the power. I would like to thank you all for tuning in for this episode, and this is Boisterous signing out.